Hello, friends, and not yet friends. Welcome back to What I Ate Wednesday here on Mary's Test Kitchen, where we make vegan food fun again. I'm your friend Mary, and this is our 100th What I Ate Wednesday food porn special. Today we'll have new and old recipes, text versions linked in the description box as always, as well as the clickable timestamps if you want to skip around. You may have noticed it's not actually Wednesday. And my schedule had been going so well this year up until now. There's a life lesson in there somewhere, something about hiccups and not letting ish get you down. Just pick yourself back up, perhaps with coffee. You've seen this before. I mix silk unsweetened soy milk with some almond coffee creamer. Buying vegan coffee creamer has never been easier. 5 years ago, I'd be lucky to find just one at any regular grocery store. Now even Coffee Mate has a few, so every single major grocery store near me has a nice size selection. Amazing! Are the vegan options getting better in your neck of the woods too? Let me know in the comments below. After heating in the microwave and giving it a little buzz, it's nice and foamy. And now we have a lovely mushroom coffee latte. Who needs to get charged extra for soy at Starbucks? Not me. This episode is going to be a little longer than usual, so maybe go ahead and fix yourself a little drink and or snack, because otherwise you're going to get hungry. And I will not be held responsible. While you're doing that, check it out. I finally got my silver play button in the mail. You helped me grow to 100,000 subscribers quite a while ago, but YouTube forgot about me, and that's why I have this new style of play button. I won't lie, I kind of wanted the old style, but what you gonna do? It's still pretty cool, right? And now we are approaching 200,000. Are you freaking kidding me? And that is all thanks to you, my friends. You have your snack? All right, let's get into breakfast. We're going to have some fat, juicy meals ahead of us today, so breakfast is actually going to be a little bit on the simpler side compared to those, starting with toasted English muffins. Old Mill brand, if you're here in Canada, it is my favorite. Biggest nooks, biggest crannies. And I'm pulling out some vegan Cheez Whiz from the fridge that I prepared ahead of time in anticipation for this day. It is so good. Thick and spreadable when it's cold, but you can loosen it up with hot water, stir it smooth, and then it becomes a really lovely vegan cheese sauce. The flavor is bolder than Cheez Whiz, like a stronger, I would say, grown-up version, and I guess I'll show you how it's made. This version is cashew-based. Sub with sunflower seeds for a low-cost alternative if you want, or tofu if you're allergic, of course. And it can still be pretty good, but really I prefer cashews, so if you can. I got these from Superstore, $20 for a kilogram or 2.2 pounds, which is the best price I've seen in a long time. Really fresh tasting, really good. I will definitely buy these again, especially if they stay this price. Soak them first for easier blending. I did overnight in the fridge, but if you want to do a couple hours at room temperature, that should be okay. Then into a blender with a couple of roasted red peppers. Actually, 1 small pepper from this jar is really all you need. 2, and you have a much stronger, more identifiable red pepper flavor, so it's up to you. There are no rules. For the tang, add lemon juice and red wine vinegar. Then some nutritional yeast, but not too much or it'll just taste like nooch. A teaspoon of Dijon mustard. I like this one, it's not too strong. 1 small clove of garlic, white pepper, and maple syrup. Unexpected, weird, probably, but hey, just go with it. Then a couple tablespoons of melted butter-flavored coconut oil. This makes a huge difference to the flavor. If you can't get this one, Earth Balance Buttery Spread will also work. Then if you have a very loud blender like I do, protect your ears and blend away until smooth. It would help if you added a little water, like a 1/4 cup of hot water, but not too much. By the way, if you don't have a high-powered blender like this Ninja, it's totally fine. You just need a little extra liquid and then blend in intervals. Maybe do a minute and then let your blender rest, maybe scrape down the sides and repeat. I used to make cashew cheese in my regular $40 Oster blender all the time and it totally works. You just have to be way more patient. Also, after it's pretty smooth, you can add salt. I'd start with half a teaspoon if you're a low sodium type of person. 1 teaspoon is perfect for me, and 2 teaspoons is pretty darn salty, but maybe that's the saltiness that's perfect for you, especially if you're going to be putting it in blander foods to dress them up. Whatever you decide, just taste as you go. And there you have it, a grown-up version of Cheez Whiz, made vegan. Ready to go on steamed veggies if you're feeling healthy. You could probably mix that into warm pasta, but if you keep it in the fridge for up to a week or 2, the flavors actually intensify a bit, making it super great on toast or crackers. Let me know what you'd do with the sauce in the comments below. Back to today, I'm cutting up some mini tomatoes so they won't roll off my toast, or that's the plan anyways. And unlike the other day when we had the most disappointing, deceptive avocado, this one is perfectly creamy. And we can drizzle on some vegan Cheez Whiz sauce. Ooh, creaminess on creaminess with a burst of savory sweet tomato on soft but also crunchy toasted English muffin. I mean, would you? Let me know in the poll coming up on the screen now. Clearly, I would, and I did. For lunch, I went into the freezer and pulled out this twice frozen tofu. Now, I always have medium firm tofu cycling in the freezer and fridge nowadays, so I always have some on hand to make some vegan chickeny things. But sometimes the tofu has thawed a second time and I'm just not ready to use it right away, so I go ahead and just drain it, press it, break it up into little pieces, dab away the residual moisture as much as possible, then pack it into freezer bags so I can make the best oven-fried vegan chicken and not have to do the work all at once. Since this was frozen flat, it won't take much time at all to thaw, so I'm just going to set it aside while I prepare the dredge. You could always do an easier version like the one I did the other day when I did vegan buffalo chicken, but today I want to make it Korean fried chicken style, and that means super crunchy and crispy. Good thing my best vegan fried chicken recipe is already crunchy and crispy, especially when I use Bob Bread Mill's gluten-free 101 baking flour. You could totally use regular all-purpose flour and it's fine, but I promise you this blend really makes it lighter and crispier, whether you're going to make a deep-fried version or an oven-fried version like we are doing today. And yes, of course, you can use your air fryer if you like. You're just going to have to adjust the timing and check on it earlier so you don't accidentally dry out your vegan air-fried chicken. The second step is the vegan egg. I'm using Earth Island's vegan egg, TM, aka Follow Your Heart's vegan egg. If you can't get it, you can also use flax egg, but honestly, using vegan egg, it turns out better. Some readers have also told me they use chickpea flour instead, and it works, but personally I haven't tried it yet, so you do you. Lastly, I'll prep the marinade for the tofu. This time, I'm just using 2 teaspoons of this veggie bouillon powder. Normally, I would use vegan chicken broth powder or paste, but I'm fresh out and this will be fine, especially with the sauce we're going to have on the top later. These tofu pieces are pretty much thawed, so in they go. You want the tofu to really soak up the double strength broth here. So if you got your tofu really dry in the first place, it should soak up most, if not all, of the broth. And that's one of the keys to making your tofu not taste like tofu, but instead taste like the yummy broth that you have made here. Now we can do the first steps of the 3-step dredge. Coat each piece in the dry mix, shake off any excess, and then continue on. Once that's done, add some crunch to the dry mix with crispy rice. I'm using Nature's Path Organic Brown Rice Crispy Rice Cereal. Say that 5 times fast. You can actually use anything similar, although the big cereal brands unfortunately contain animal-based vitamin D, so watch out for that if that's something you're avoiding. Crunch some of it up, not all, but some, and then you can dunk the floured pieces into your vegan egg. See how thick it is like this? Just let the excess drip off, then drop into your crispy dry mix. Cover and shake the excess off and lay it on a parchment-lined baking sheet. Afterwards, I have 2 small trays filled. I have some leftover tofu, but I'll save that for a stir fry for another day because I just don't need to use up all my hand budget on this day all at once. Plus, this is just for myself. Spray or drizzle on some oil and pop those into your oven preheated to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm using my convection microwave oven on the convection bake setting today because it's just easier to film. You may remember it from Easy Vegan Meals for One when I shared vegan shakshuka, 5-minute creamy mac and nooch, and baked vegan buffalo wings. The convection mode works similar to an air fryer, but since it's so large, we're not actually going to save much time, maybe about 5 minutes or so. Halfway, we'll need to flip the pieces over and give them an extra spritz of oil so they get really crispy. Meanwhile, we can make the Korean fried chicken style sweet and spicy sauce, starting with seasoned rice vinegar. If you only have plain, just add a little extra sugar and salt at the end, but wait till the end so you can taste it first. 3 tablespoons of ketchup, I'm using Heinz, and a couple tablespoons of Korean red pepper paste. You can use less if you don't want it to be too spicy. You guys know me, I'm the kind of person that likes to put spicy stuff in everything. Maybe start with a tablespoon at first if you're not too sure, but don't worry because you can always dilute it with some ketchup if you accidentally go overboard. Then 2 tablespoons plus a teaspoon of sugar, and a half teaspoon of onion powder, half teaspoon of garlic powder, and an 1/8 teaspoon of ginger powder if you have it. Stir until this is all smooth, then you can heat it in the microwave or on the stovetop if you like until it's just bubbling. When your vegan oven-fried tofu chicken is nice and golden brown, take them out and you can transfer to a bowl. I'll just do half for now, so I'll add half the sauce. And toss. And plate. Sprinkle fresh chopped green onions if you like. They're a must for me. And then I'll add toasted sesame seeds. And that's what I call a balanced meal, like half unspicy, half spicy balanced. The sauce is so deliciously sweet and spicy, and because of those Rice Krispies, the sauced nuggets still retain some of that crispy crunchiness and that interior texture. Unsauced is also delicious. By the way, even if your tofu doesn't come out the same after freezing and you get a spongy texture instead of flaky, you can still use that tofu for this recipe. Just make sure you squeeze out the water in the tofu really well, but be gentle and don't mush it up. You can use some clean kitchen towels to help you out there, and it will still come out tasting really good. I joke about balance, but I really gotta have some crunchy, fresh coleslaw with a meal like this. Gotta keep things moving, because for dinner, we are having juicy vegan Big Macs. You may remember these burgers from the best vegan burgers that I shared last year. But last year I didn't share the mac sauce recipe because I thought it was too simple. But since a lot of you asked, we'll start with a half cup of vegan mayo. Usually I like using my homemade aquafaba mayo, so cheap, so easy and good, but these days I don't have the hand budget to make everything from scratch, so I'm going with the classic Earth Island, aka Follow Your Heart, Veganaise, or Veganase, however you want to say that. To that, add 2 tablespoons of sweet pickle relish. I'm using no name brand. Then a scant tablespoon of regular yellow mustard. I'm using French's. Then a half teaspoon of garlic powder, a half teaspoon of onion powder, and a teaspoon of paprika. Stir that together really well, and there's your mac sauce, almost. We just need a little bit of tang, so we're going to add 2 teaspoons of white vinegar to this. And if this sat longer, the color would probably develop, but since I want to film and I'm in a hurry and I'm not completely happy with the color yet, I'm adding a little smidge of ketchup, even though real mac sauce doesn't have ketchup, to my knowledge. So just let this sit so the flavors can mingle together while you prep the rest of your ingredients, or while I prep the rest of my ingredients. Real McDonald's Big Macs use rehydrated onions, so they don't taste the same if you use fresh diced onions. So I'm going to use dried onion pieces and just soak them in warm water. Also, I'm getting some pickles ready. They should be round, regular dill pickles if you want to get authentic, but clearly I'm not as committed as I was last time, as I'm also using the wrong lettuce as well. For the buns, we'll need 2 regular hamburger buns since I'm cooking for myself and my boyfriend, plus we'll need the bottoms from 2 extra buns to use as the middle. I'll take those off to toast, and the last thing to prep is the cheese. Sadly, I'm still not happy with the cheddar slices I was working on last year, but this vegan Cheez Whiz is going to be even better on this sandwich. Just gonna heat it up a little so it's gonna go on smoothly. Then we're ready to grill. I'm using, of course, the best vegan burgers that I prepared the day before. I had these in the fridge previously, but you can also freeze these burgers, then grill them directly from frozen. It just takes a little longer. To freeze them, just put them in a freezer bag with just a little bit of broth so they stay juicy. I like to freeze them flat as well, so taking them out is super easy. After 4 minutes, they're ready to flip. Now with the buns toasted, let's assemble. And there you have it, 2 all-wheat patty special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun. And gotta have fries with that. Spicy super fries from McCain. And this was delicious. It's a little bit messy with the Cheez Whiz sauce, but like guys, it's totally worth it. Just go for it. You've got to make this if you're not gluten-free, of course. And really, I could have stopped there. Friends, I should have stopped there, but cake. It's kind of wonky looking and I do a few things differently next time, but I'll show you how I made it anyways. Again, I prepped a couple days before because there's no way I could do so much cooking in one day because I eat no spring chicken and that hand budget is limited. First, we prep some baking pans with vegan butter. I'm using Melt vegan butter alternative for the first time, and I find that it melts faster, so I don't really prefer it, but like, hey, it works. And then in goes some parchment paper so the cake will release easily. And then also some flour to coat the sides just lightly. That's also going to help with the release. Next, I assembled the ingredients for the cake layers. That just makes baking so much easier. I used the exact same recipe as I did for Sansa's vegan lemon cakes, except I doubled the recipe and reduced the sugar a little bit since I'm putting some sugary frosting on afterwards. That was my logic anyways. The batter goes into the pans, leveled off as much as possible, and tapped on the counter to eliminate any large bubbles. And into the oven, which was preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, so we can bake for 20 minutes. Afterwards, took them out, breathed a huge sigh of relief when the cakes came out easily and looked pretty darn good. They have to cool completely before icing, so in the meantime, I made some vegan lemon curd to go in the center of the cake. This is the same lemon curd that I used for Sansa's lemon cakes as well, but this time I had some Daya cream cheese to use up, and I thought, might as well. Honestly, it didn't make much difference to the flavor. I was hoping for like a more cheesecake type flavor to come out, but it didn't really. And then it was time to make buttercream. This is the simplest vegan buttercream you can make. Vegan butter goes in with icing sugar. That's powdered sugar that already has cornstarch in it. And then in order to prevent the sugar from going flying, I broke up the butter pretty well, squishing it with the beaters so the sugar would be pretty much incorporated. And then only when it was well mixed, I turned the power on low. Slowly picking up speed. Then I added some vanilla extract. You can also add a little salt as well. And in a few short minutes, we have buttercream. It's really thick and sugary, honestly better for cupcakes than full-sized cakes, but I was keeping things simple. Then time to assemble. Honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. It has literally been years since I made a layer cake. I should have added way more lemon curd to the middle. I mean, I knew it as soon as I added the second layer, but by this time I was like tired of making cake and I just wanted to get on with it, and I kind of prayed to myself that it would all work out at the end, but you'll find out. After the top and sides were frosted, the buttercream was starting to melt, so I put the whole thing in the fridge for an hour before continuing. And this is when I really started to panic because I had no idea or plan of how I was going to decorate. So I just kind of like did what the first thing that came to mind. So I thought like just around the sides, we'll just pipe little pokey things and that should do it, right? And then it comes out super lopsided. So I'm thinking, it's fine. Another ring will make it look better. I'll put lemon curd in the middle. It'll look like a sunflower. I don't know what. But like panicky Mary just cannot control herself. So I just went around and around and around and around until I didn't know where to put that lemon curd. And I knew there was too much lemon curd left over. But there is a life lesson in here somewhere. Something about planning to fail and failing to plan, and Panicky Mary also speaks in the third person. And this is how we got this weird, spiky, lemon drop-ish cake with icing that is way too thick on the top, with not nearly enough lemon curd in the middle. If I could go back in time and redo this, I would just use some like Cocoa Whip and use that for my frosting, because this was like, it was too much. And this is how, at the age of 34, I still managed to eat enough sugar to send me whizzing about the condo, just like giggling and whirling about like a child. My boyfriend, the saint, has not left me yet, bless his soul. I will never do this again. Well, not exactly. Maybe in chocolate. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, my friends. Thank you for bringing this channel to 100 episodes of What I Ate Wednesday. Thank you always for leaving your supportive comments, your delicious suggestions, and indulging in my nosiness every now and again on Instagram and such, which is where you can find me while you wait for the next video. My schedule is going out the window for the foreseeable future, as lots of things are coming up for me on both the personal and work fronts, but the vegan fun food will continue on. Make sure you're subscribed and please turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the new videos when they go up. And you can also sign up for the newsletter on marystestkitchen.com, which actually has not come out yet, but I swear the first edition is coming out one of these days, soon-ish. I swear. Bye for now.